we got a lot of Oklahoma fans here that don't know much about Florida State. So, give us an overview on what the Seminoles accomplished this year.
Great season. One of the better seasons we've had since Jimbo Fisher's last few years. I believe we have the potential to have our first 10-win season since 2016. You've got Jordan Travis, who's probably one of the more dynamic playmakers in college football. He's interesting. If you try to take away the pass, he can kill you with his legs. You've got Trey Benson, who transferred in from Oregon. Very hard runner, one of the leaders in yards after contact in the nation. I think he's a few yards away from 1,000-yard rushing season. Johnny Wilson, a few yards away from 1,000-yard receiving season. Big 6'7", 230-pound wide receiver target. Big target there. Those are really the things. And then on defense, you've got obviously I was about to say Jermaine Johnson, but Jared Verse, who is coming off the edge, who we don't know what's going to happen, but he's very dynamic when it comes to rushing the passer. Should be able to create some havoc there with Fabian Lovett. And then, the secondary is led by Jamie Robinson. I mean, you've got some NFL caliber talent on this team, but the craziest thing is a lot of these guys are young and potentially trying to come back. So this game, though, will, even with Oklahoma, probably not having one of the seasons that's up to their standard, but a lot of these guys are circling this so that they could be able to showcase one more last time to figure out what they want to do in terms of the 2023 season. If they want to go ahead and try to get their name called in the draft, or if they want to be able to come back one more season to try to solidify draft rankings. But this is one of the better seasons they've had. Pretty well-coached team at times. But, when they've matched up against pretty good coach teams, they've had some struggles. So, you Oklahoma fans, if you watch that UF game, you should probably be a little bit pleased, especially if you watch the first half of it.
I noticed Jermaine Johnson, I saw him block a punt for the Jets on Sunday. Talking this Florida State team, James, and then I'm going to cut Jason loose to get some feedback from you. That, we always have this incentive question with these teams. Who's motivated? Who wants to be there? But I got to think for a big brand football team that this would be an exception to the rule, that these guys seem like they like each other, that they're excited, that obviously they haven't tasted success for so long. And now that they want to complete the deal, they want to complete the job, they're on a mission, and that they're going to be all in on this game.
Yeah, definitely. You've got guys who, whereas other schools they've got guys who are just saying they're going to sit out. You've got guys like, again, I don't think Jamie Robinson's coming back, but he's definitely playing in this game. Jared Verse, who has probably done enough to be able to say that he's not coming back, but he says he's definitely playing this game. I think there are some things that Mike Norvell has done since he's been at Florida State that have done a tremendous he's had a tremendous amount of success in talking about legacy, impact, and what Florida State means and what being a Seminole means. Having former players come back the night before every game and talk to the players about, hey, this is what it means to have played at Florida State. This is what it means to play in these big games. And they want to leave that legacy. Guys like Kalen DeLoach, one of the things that I've gotten a chance to learn about him is his whole goal isn't just to go to the NFL, but to leave the university in a better place than which he found it, which is going back or trending back in the direction of the years when I played and the years before I played. And that's where, a lot of these young men, their mindset is. And it's actually refreshing considering what everybody talks about in this name, image, and likeness era and in this kind of self-serving era with these young men. These young men are playing for legacies. And it helps when you got guys like myself who literally, I got joke and say, nobody's eating off of one touchdown more than I did against the University of Miami back in 2005.
Jason, anything for James?
Yeah, I mean, I think just generally speaking, I think a lot of Oklahoma fans have a lot of respect for this Florida State team. Not only the team, but just the program. And, this is on the outside looking in, this is a team that has played its best football towards the end of the year. 5 straight wins is what it looks like here. And you kind of mentioned the Florida game. It was a little bit up and down, but I think that the dynamics that this team has on the offensive side of the ball, as you mentioned, with Jordan Travis being really one of the better dual threat quarterbacks in the country. Looks like 29 total touchdowns he's accounted for this year. So I think it's two teams that are, I don't know that I would say necessarily going in different directions, but from kind of from where this season looked like it was going to go, from an expectation perspective for Oklahoma and Florida State, certainly two different directions. Coming towards the end of the season, to me, I think Florida State was at worst the second best team in the conference. If they played Clemson again, if they were to play Clemson instead of North Carolina, I wouldn't have been surprised to see that game go a little differently. So I think one of the questions that I was going to ask, you kind of had responded to a minute ago. So you don't really expect any opt-outs or any holdouts really of a considerable nature in this game for Florida State?
No. And what's crazy is even the guys who have hit the transfer portal, there's been a tremendous amount of respect outside of one and a kid named Sam McCall. They're practicing. So while they're already making decisions that they know they won't be at Florida State in the spring, they're still practicing and trying to be able to hold on to that legacy. So even the practicing and depth guys are still coming in and want to attribute to winning this bowl game. A lot of people say a lot of things about bowl games, and I tell them, as a guy who's participated in 4 New Year's Day bowl games, it's easy to say that they don't matter if you're not in the playoff because you've never done it. Like, I played in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. I played 2 in Miami, and I actually live in Jacksonville, Florida now, and I played my junior year in the Gator Bowl. And God forbid, I probably would have never wanted to come to this city had I never played in the Gator Bowl. Especially during the holiday season, just to give people perspective. I didn't participate in Christmas much until I became 18. And the bowl game gifts that you get are a lot better than getting gifts when you ain't really got much. So, you're doing that, you're practicing, you're playing football. You never know when your last game is going to be. So I think that says a lot for a lot of the guys. Just they're having a great time being Seminoles. And I'm not even going to lie to you, it's been hard the last 5 years to be a Seminole fan, cover the Seminoles, or be anything related to them. So kudos to those young men.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think you hit the nail on the head, and just in terms of and it looks like this bowl game is going to mean a lot for Florida State. And it kind of remains to be seen, I think, at this point for Oklahoma, what what the nature of this bowl game means. Obviously Oklahoma's a program that has expectations of playing for conference championships, being in the mix for playoffs, and it's quite frankly the worst one of the worst seasons that Oklahoma has had since 98, 99 era for Oklahoma. So it's been a long time. So, and with some of these kids, Oklahoma's already had 19 kids hit the portal. A lot of those kids have been processed, so to speak, right? I mean, where they weren't big time contributors, but then you've got a couple of key players in Eric Gray, leading rusher for Oklahoma, over 1,200 yards on the season, who's opted out of this game, and you got a true freshman behind him, which I think the future is bright for this kid, Javante Barnes, but he's not been thrust into that role as the lead running back. And then you look at a couple of a left tackle who is their best offensive lineman, again, kind of the same situation. So it's one of those things, I think, that on paper this looks like a mismatch. I think just in terms of how Oklahoma has played down the stretch versus how Florida State has played down the stretch, accompanied with the fact that Florida State, to your point, seems to be very, very in tune, very excited, very much looking forward to this bowl game, and from a kind of taking it, obviously not from the team itself, but the fan base, I think, is really more interested in the 2023 recruiting, really more interested in the transfer portal, what that looks like. So I don't know what the focus will be from this Oklahoma team. Are they ready to just kind of get the season over with, or to your point, the bowl season and the bowl games give, different opportunities. You go, I mean, for no other reason, you get out of the winter in Oklahoma and get to go to a place that's warm and nice. And you mentioned the bowl gifts that these kids get. So regardless of whether or not, you've had a great season or, you've underachieved a little bit, you still, it's still still a reward to get to go and play and participate against a really good team. So it'll be interesting to see what that mindset for this Oklahoma team looks like coming into this game, all things considered.
Yeah, and then the other side of it too is you guys are moving into the SEC relatively soon, and you've got to make sure you get an opportunity to play in the backyard in one of the recruiting hotbeds. So to come in and not be well coached and to lay an egg in Orlando, which is, when I say it's about as central as Florida as you could possibly get, and it's a big city where a lot of people, a lot of top name kids come out of. It's kind of one of those things where you do want to actually. Well, you do want to actually be able to look the part in terms of being competent, and you got some really good coaches over there. You got Levy, Jeff Levy, who is again coached at Central Florida for some time, and man, I can't think of my guy's name. He used to give us nightmares as a coordinator at Clemson. That's your head coach. Sorry about that. Just
Venables, yeah,
Venables. I mean, these guys know what it's like. They know what's at stake. They also know what they're going up against. And, you would think that it does mean something to the coach, but I do know in today's culture, it is easy to give up if you feel like, this doesn't mean anything. But I know, as I said, from our side, we're excited. Heck, I'm throwing the tailgate. Anybody from Oklahoma, y'all more than welcome to come over. We're friendly. We'll show you some good old Southern hospitality, before the game, and during the game, it's going to be what it is. After the game, we'll all hug and make up and have some good beverages and good food too as well. So we're pumped again. We had so much success under Coach Bowden and Coach Fisher that we got spoiled at Florida State. We thought like 36 straight bowl games up until Willie Taggart took over. And we just assumed that bowl game and 40 straight winning seasons. We just assumed that this was automatic. And then when you lose it, that's when you start to be like, all right, well, okay, maybe we should cherish this just a little bit more because we ain't had very many below 500 seasons since 1980. So it's been so us getting back on it feels good to be back on the right side of things.
James, you talked about experiencing Christmas for the first time, really getting to a bowl game for yourself personally. You also talked about Kalen DeLoach and his perspective on wanting to give back and wanting to leave the place where he is better than when he got there. You have that same drive, that same initiative. Tell us about the current drive that you have for Christmas giving for those less fortunate kids.
Oh yeah. So every year, for those know, I do a book bag drive here. We gave away 30, my number's 36. So everything we do tries to do in multiples of 36. We gave 3,600 book bags out in Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Atlanta, and Orlando. My hometown is Tallahassee, and then I live in Jacksonville. Well, what we do is we annually give the kids who participate in those book bag drives opportunities to show us their grades, keep in contact with us. We'll get them tutors, and if they've made tremendous progress academically as well as a citizen, they get a chance to get up to a $30 gift that we'll give them. And today we're gonna start passing them out on Friday, and the kids are excited. It gives them motivation to be able to continue to be good students and good citizens. And that's the biggest thing. It actually makes you feel good when you actually see these kids actually say, man, if I can make good grades and I'm gonna get a gift, I'm gonna keep making good grades. So that's just what it is to keep them doing the right thing and encouraged.
Awesome. So where's the best place? I know we've got it on the banner, but people need that reinforcement. So if you could just let us know the best place to donate.
Yeah, if you go to if you have Cash App, money sign MFTK36, you can donate any $1, $36, $30, $100, whatever you want helps. Or if you have PayPal, you go to mftkfoundation@gmail.com. You can donate there as well. If you want more information mftkfoundation.com or jamescolemangivesback.com, and you can see all of the different things that we do. It's one of those few things where literally almost 100% of all the proceeds goes directly to impacting the kids. It may be like 5% to pay some of the volunteers, get them some coffee and some donuts or something. But whatever you give, especially with these gifts, that's literally going to go buy and purchase a gift. And we take pictures and we post it up. Kids have big smiles on their faces because some of these kids, this is probably going to be one of the best Christmas gifts that they get. One of the things I've learned, if a lot of people do a little bit, we can have maximum impact. And you don't have to sit there worrying about government. Don't have to sit here worrying about other stuff. And it's just about it's about influencing the younger generation to be the next great Oklahoma Sooner, the next Florida State Seminole, or whatever, or just the next great human. And that's really what we're about, is going out here trying to make some better humans.